It's Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods.
No.
.06 is the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. It is a Tuesday, which will be just a little bit warmer than yesterday and definitely warmer than the weekend. It's a trend.
Today's show is sponsored by Do-It-Yourself Pet Taxidermy Kit. You'll never have to say goodbye to Mr. Sprinkles again.
By the way, if you go to the Wake Up Wyoming website this morning, I just started following this on social media. There's a Facebook page out there all about bad taxidermy. Oh, it's funny. I put a post up on the Wake Up Wyoming site just for you guys.
Warning. This show contains reference to guns, liberty, limited government, low taxation, the cult of climate change, free thinking, cigar smoking, short people, rubber chickens, Karen's bureaucracy, liberal buzzwords, tour runs, traffic, toilets, terrible jokes, and more. No apologies will be issued. Guest callers may express any opinion they want without fear of being canceled. Unless you're a loudmouth jerk like Dave, then Glenn will hang up on you. Strap in, hold on to your coffee, and feel free to participate.
This disclaimer does not refer to every person named Dave. Just one particular Dave from San Francisco. We know a lot of Daves. They call this show all the time, and they're great people. So don't call this program and complain that we use your name. That would be a real Dave move, Dave.
Now, I've not been doing a whole lot on the topic of Joe Biden, just touching on the hot points now and then, because I know all of the programs that come after me all day long. And if you turn on any news channel all day long, all they're doing is the cognitive abilities or lack thereof of Joe Biden. So, but these stories I think are worth looking at just to start your day. Then we'll get on to other news. Oh, I can't believe, hang on. Before I do this, I haven't had much of an opportunity to play her opening for a while. But this one starts with Joe Biden and Ocasio-Cortez. And whenever I get to Ocasio-Cortez, I always have to wonder which song do I play for her. There's the Googly Eyes song. Of course, there's that. Then there's Marty Feldman Eyes, which I never play the entire Marty Feldman Eyes songs because it just goes on too much. But it starts off, I think, with a perfect description of Googly Eyes Cortez.
Her hair is hollow and black. Her lips steel rice. Her hands take no flack. She's got Marty Feldman eyes.
So, okay, if you don't know who Marty Feldman is, then you never, I guess, watch Young Frankenstein, for example. Alexandria Ocasio-Crazy Cortez stands behind Joe Biden, and I love it when she does stuff like this. The matter is closed. She's very matter of fact, because she said so. Because she said the matter is closed, therefore it is closed. Because she said so. Imagine being, and I know some of you guys out there, you're going to kind of freak out and shudder when I say this, but imagine being her boyfriend. Yeah, I know. Okay. Sorry I brought it up this early in the morning. I'm sure a couple of guys out there just spit coffee across the room. All right, so let's see. That's from James O'Keefe. No, I want to get down to Googly Eyes Cortez. Here we go. I have spoken to the president over the weekend, says Googly Eyes. I have spoken with him extensively. He made clear then, and he has made clear since, that he is in the race. The matter is closed. He had reiterated that this morning. Okay. He had reiterated that to the public. I loved it when Biden says the polls are out and it shows that the public wants him in the race, which is a complete lie because even Democrats, the majority of them in the polls are saying, no, get out. So, okay, there's Googly Eyes for you. And as far as she's concerned, she's by him all the way, and she's not budging because, by gosh, he's the president and he's our man. That's your compassionate liberal, by the way, where I've said before, a man with dementia, obviously in some stage of dementia, needs to be taken home and taken care of. It's better for the country, yes, but please don't do this to this man. But, I mean, when it comes to liberals in this case.
What? No, I'm not. She's the crazy ex-girlfriend. That's a sexist term. She's the crazy ex-girlfriend. Can you guys stop singing for just a second? She's so broken inside. The situation's a lot more nuanced than that. C-R-A-Z-Y.
Okay, but it's not just that. Hang on. Because now we're going to go, I'm probably giving you too much of this first thing in the morning. Maybe I should have waited because, again, some of you you're just trying to have breakfast. But, all right, we're going to go to The View. Yeah, I know, but okay. Let's go to The View, where Whoopi Goldberg has been out for a while, but now she's back. And she wants to comment on all of this. When it comes to Joe Biden, she doesn't care if he poops his pants.
I don't care if he's pooped his pants. I don't care if he can't put a sentence together. Show me he can't do the job. And then I'll say, okay, maybe it's time to go.
Okay. And for some reason, she hasn't been given all the evidence or doesn't want to see all the evidence. Okay. Now, this is pure gaslighting. I mean, what I'm about to play for you is gaslighting at its finest. This is a Democrat representative, and she's saying Biden just needs to work less and sleep more. It's a blessing that shows integrity. Let's see. This was on News Nation. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'm going to play little bits and pieces for you. And listen as this woman tries to gaslight the hell out of America.
Joining us now here on the Hill is the Democratic Congresswoman from the state of Ohio. She represents the Cleveland area, Shontel Brown. Congresswoman, thanks for being with us here on the Hill. Appreciate the time. President Biden, as you see it, Congresswoman, should he continue his campaign, yes or no?
I am standing solidly with President Biden. He has been a magnificent president, and I am confident he will go down in history as one of the greatest presidents in our lifetime. I'm
sorry. Some of you were having breakfast, and you didn't just spit out your coffee. You threw up a little bit in your mouth, didn't you? All right. This is, again, the peak, the pinnacle of gaslighting.
Listen, I think this press secretary was very clear in her position as it relates to questions around his health. And what I think is more important is the questions that haven't come up as it relates to his challenger.
Okay, now, here's what gaslighting does. Now she starts talking about Trump and changing the subject.
And I understand why Democrats want to talk about him, but there are very real questions about.
Okay, so the host is doing the right thing. We're not talking about Trump. That's not the topic. We're talking about Biden.
Secretary during that press conference, and so
you were pleased with the press secretary.
What was frustrating for my constituents back home is why no one is talking about the challenger who was allowed.
Okay, again, here she's trying to change the subject again. Instead of talking about Biden, she's on the air to talk about Biden and his condition, and right away she pivots over to Trump instead of focusing on what the issue is. And the host is waiting for a break here.
Donald Trump. This is also a person who has been known to stand at campaign rallies and talk about being electrocuted on a boat or eaten by a shark. Which would you choose? Now, this is not the person that I want in control of the country.
Yeah, she's still talking about Trump. She's not. Hang on. The juicy part of this is coming because the host does have a good question. If he can get a word in edgewise.
No one seems to be talking about.
Congresswoman, so let me jump in here.
Here
for
we
a
go.
Second, because you are a businesswoman. Before you got into politics, you're a businesswoman, and now you're a member of Congress. You have a staff, right? So whether in the private sector with your business or now as a member of Congress with your staff, you have people who work for you. And we know that when the president spoke to governors last week at the White House, he told them, Congresswoman, that he needs to sleep more and work less. Congresswoman, if a member of your staff said to you, you know what, Congresswoman Brown, I got to sleep more and work less, you'd fire them, wouldn't you? Or you'd start looking for their replacement, would you not?
Absolutely not. Listen, the fact that the president can admit his shortcomings, I think, is a blessing. I think it demonstrates his integrity. I think it demonstrates his authenticity.
Okay, there you go. Okay, I'm not going to ask you to put up with any more than that. You basically get the idea. Yeah, the president said, I need to sleep more. I need to rest more. I need to take more breaks. I can't keep up the pace here. Well, that just shows his integrity, doesn't it? That's what gaslighting looks like. From the very people who are supposed to be the compassionate ones. Whatever they do, they don't want this guy to drop out because they don't know what to do next. They could replace him, but they can't figure out how. And so this is what panic mode and gaslighting looks like.
Welcome to Woke Radio WOK. Let's look at today's calendar and see what we're offended by. Or you can go outside and play it by ear. Just make sure everybody feels as miserable as you.
Honestly, he's just happy to be here. Catch Glenn Woods on Wake Up Wyoming, weekdays at 6 on air, on Alexa, and on the Wake Up Wyoming app.
6:23 is the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. Now, I know it's a lot to stomach first thing in the morning, but I got to do it again. Ladies and gentlemen, Whoopi Goldberg.
I don't care if he's pooped his pants. I don't care if he can't put a sentence together. Show me he can't do the job.
I can do that.
And then I'll say, okay, maybe it's time to go.
Well, she should have been paying attention. Now, on that note, morning, Nicholas. Nicholas sends me this little text. Good morning, Mr. G. That would be me. Although he spells it with a small g. I kind of wonder about that, Nicholas. So, what I'm not hearing, he says, is the Democrats will support anybody 100%, no matter how bad they are. I mean, look what they did for Hillary. So what nobody is saying is that look how quickly they turn on a president bite. That means they know what they're talking about. If they know that they would be acting more supportive of him instead of throwing him under the bus so quickly. Okay. I know there's a better way of saying it. Yes, because I got a little bit lost in your words. Sorry about that, Nicholas, but I think I know where you're going with this. Look, the press should have turned on Biden a long time ago because the press saw this. They did. Most of the news media saw this, and they just wouldn't let the general public see it. And when people like me, other talk show hosts, but also social media tried to put out, this is how bad Biden is, it was the kind of stuff that, well, if you try to put it out on social media, they wouldn't let you share it with very many people. I mean, it just wouldn't really be put out there. So even social media was trying to hide this. So when it finally happened on live television, and they can't hide that because it's live television, now they have a problem. And there's a bunch of Democrats acting all shocked as if they didn't know, and members of the media acting all shocked as if they didn't know. I know some people, like Whoopi Goldberg, honestly didn't know because this was hidden from. Meantime, the White House spokeswoman confirms Biden has seen neurologists 3 times during his presidency, and even more than that, tested for Parkinson's and so on. During a heated press briefing at the White House, she answered questions regarding a doctor, a neurologist, who specializes in treating people with Parkinson's disease, who visited the White House 8 times in the past 8 months. Quote, every year around the president's physical examination, he sees a neurologist. Yeah, but this is more than his typical annual evaluation. There's some tough questions that need to be asked here and answered. This has nothing to do with his regular evaluation. This is a neurologist that keeps showing up to the White House pretty much on a monthly basis. The story says the White House press secretary explained that for security reasons, the White House cannot share the names of the specialists. We cannot share the names of specialists broadly. From a dermatologist to a neurologist, we cannot share their names. And they're also not sharing all sorts of other names and information as well. Again, just being hidden from the general public. They don't want you to see this. But I'll just go back to because I can go on like all the other talk show hosts on media have been doing. I can go on about it, but it really comes down to this. You have a man who is going through some issues, as you know, as you've seen. And if these were compassionate people like the Democrats claim to be, they would have done something, especially his wife and kids, Biden's wife and kids. Especially them, they would have taken him home and just said to the Democrat Party, We understand you're afraid of Trump. You're going to have to figure something else out because we got to get the big guy home. It would have just been that simple. If I were to push anything on the American people right about now about election time, and especially Democrats, hardcore Democrats who are afraid of Trump, I wouldn't even preach Trump to them. I wouldn't try to convince them to vote Republican. I would just turn and say, would you look at what your party's doing? Obviously, Biden needs to be taken home. It should have happened a long time ago. And you're now seeing it. If you're really the compassionate person that you say you are, you'll do the right thing. Find somebody else. You still have time. You haven't even had your Democrat convention yet. So when Whoopi Goldberg says, I don't care if he poops his pants, I do. I really do. These things matter. Go get somebody else, do the compassionate thing. If you're that afraid of Trump, okay. You go find someone who you think can beat Trump. You go do that. But get this man home where he needs to be if you're really the compassionate person that you as a liberal say you are. Morning, DJ. She's in Gillette. Still, it cannot be an accident that they sent the old fool out at 9:30 p.m. DJ's one of those who believe that these are people who are trying to topple Biden, and so they sent him out at that time. I honestly, DJ, think that these people are just that cruel. Honestly. I'll address it next because I'm running out of time. It's Wake Up Wyoming.
Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods. Make your voice heard at 888-97-WOODS. This is AM 1030 K2 Radio.
6:36 the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. Okay, a couple of things I want to get. First off, Eyes Wide Open in Cheyenne. Good morning. I thought that was really clever. I like this. I got to share it with everybody. Eyes Wide Open writes, I support Donald Trump and hopes he will be next in the Oval Office occupant. I just find it humorous that as a convicted felon, he can't carry a gun, but he may have a nuclear arsenal in his pocket. So I hadn't thought about that. That's really good. As a convicted felon, no, he can't have a gun, but he's got the nuclear codes with him anytime. That's great. Okay, so, well, there's no law against that. You can carry nukes. That's why. All right, so DJ, you're not the only one who thought about this. When Biden was up there on stage, just totally failing in that first debate, there were people who had a conspiracy theory that this was done intentionally by those people who want to get rid of Biden and so on, and I really don't see it that way at all. Here's what I think. I understand why you see it that way, but I don't agree. Here's what I think is going on. Democrats, as Rush Limbaugh used to say all the time, Democrats lie. They do. Democrats lie. And the more they lie and try to gaslight you, the more they have to lie to cover up everything that's not happening. It just gets worse and worse. The lies get bigger and bigger. And like all liars, eventually they paint themselves into a corner. And they're assuming that we're all buying this stuff. I mean, I just played an audio of a congresswoman trying to defend Biden. And the nonsense that she was saying, I mean, just total, utter garbage that she was saying. And she believes this stuff. She really believes this stuff and demands that you believe it. They'll come up with whatever lie, and they'll believe the lie themselves. That's why I call it a mental disorder. And then you're supposed to believe it too. And as long as that's the only information you're getting and the press is complicit with it, then a lot of people will go ahead and believe the lies too because they're not getting any other information. But what happens when the lid is blown off? When they're painted into a corner. See, the corner they painted themselves into is, and we're going to do 2 live debates with Donald Trump. Now, I was one of those who was saying from the very beginning, and I'm no genius here, but I was one of those saying, there's no way he can pull off 90 minutes. I know dementia. I took care of my dad. There's no way he's going to make it through 90 minutes. It's not happening. And he didn't. The longer he was on that stage, the worse he got. This is where the Democrats really blew it. Because, again, it's live television. They can't hide this. They can't edit this. So they try to make excuses. They try to gaslight. They tried every single excuse in the book. He was overprepared. He was underprepared. He was sick. He had been on a long trip to Europe, which ended 12 days ago. I mean, excuse, other than the one that what really happened. The man has dementia. Okay. He has moments when he's a bit fluid, but there's other times he's obviously not. And it's only going to get worse. See, my belief is not a conspiracy. It's just Democrats will continue to lie and lie and lie until they've painted themselves into a corner, and finally the lie catches them. And they don't know what to do after that except lie some more. And so that's what they're trying to do. Rather than, as I keep saying, doing the right thing. The right thing would be just to step up and say, we have an alternative candidate here. We're going to bring that person up at the convention. In fact, when the Democrat convention happens, we're going to bring Joe out one last time and thank him for all he's done for the Democrat Party. And we're going to go ahead and retire him with honors, and we're going to bring somebody else out because we're compassionate liberals and this is what we do. They can't do that because that would they would have to admit that this entire time they've been lying and covering up. Even the White House spokeswoman really blew it. There was, right after the presidential debate, this first debate, Biden was visited by a doctor. And our White House spokeswoman, John Perrier, whatever her name is, said, oh, no, when asked about that, no, he didn't. He didn't see a doctor right after. Then Biden comes out the next day and says, so I saw a doctor right after. See, again, the lie upon lie upon lie upon lie until eventually it all catches up with them, and they don't know how to get out of it. They can't just stop and go, okay, fine, and admit the truth. So here comes more lies and gaslighting. That's why I say, if anything, I'm not trying to get Democrats to wear MAGA hats. I'm just trying to turn to them and say, do you see what your party has become? Are you okay with this? I mean, enough already. Just enough. Stop with the lies. Just stop. And let's start doing the right thing here. 642, wake up.
He's talking to himself in a padded room, and you could be the voice in his head. Join the conversation on Wake Up Wyoming, 866-97-WOODS.
6:48's the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. Off we go to the icebox because Frank Gambino made it back. I saw some of your vacation pictures. Looks like you had a good time.
There was the Pacific Northwest is a blast.
Okay.
It's very, very scenic out in western Montana.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I stayed the night in Missoula. It's nice, nice down there. I like Missoula.
Okay.
I did some baseball in Seattle and Portland and, saw a lot of the country. It's nice if you have time to do that.
Yes.
To see new things.
Uh-huh.
But it will wear you out if it's probably an 18-hour drive there and an 18-hour drive back.
Yeah.
It sounds like a good idea, and it is, except when you return and you're like, I'm toast.
This is why I'm always in favor of, after a vacation, that you have a day, at least a day, just to recover from the vacation.
Right. It used to be when I was younger, it was that way. You needed a vacation to get over your vacation.
Yeah.
I need to get, I've gotten better at that.
Right.
It doesn't have to be 1,000 miles an hour every day.
Right. Oh, yeah. You should actually take vacation days to sort of relax and do nothing.
I did that a couple times.
Yeah, so there you go.
It's cool.
Okay.
All righty.
All right. Now, I got something for you that it'll just make the rest of your week.
I hope so.
Because the whole time I was putting this together, I was just laughing and laughing. On the Wake Up Wyoming site, I came across a Facebook page that's dedicated to bad taxidermy.
Bad taxidermy.
Yeah. Really
bad?
Now, some is intentionally bad, some is accidentally bad.
Okay.
One of them is a squirrel, and I swear the expression on his face is the expression of looking at someone pointing a gun at you and going, oh, crap. They do have one that's actually very good, but they still put it on the bad page. It is a real coyote gripping a Acme rocket that's being launched into the air.
That would be cool. See? I don't know why anybody would taxiderm a squirrel, but the coyote with the rocket, I'll take that one.
See, there is an alligator who's standing in the same position as John Travolta from Saturday Night Fever. And I love this one. Now, you got to date yourself here. So I left a link for people who don't know. Okay. There is a deer head up there on the wall, dressed up like Carmen Miranda.
Oh, okay.
With all the fruit on the head, and they even gave it big lipstick and all that kind of stuff here. I think one of my favorite ones is there is a bobcat. And the expression on the bobcat is this cute little expression like, you wouldn't shoot a cute face like this, would you?
Yes.
Well, apparently they would. Anyway, go to the Wake Up Wyoming site. You'll just laugh your way all the way through. And it's a Facebook page that I now follow every single day.
That's perfect.
Every single day.
That's perfect. The 77th annual Central Wyoming PRCA Rodeo kicks off tonight at the fairgrounds in Casper. It's Cowboy Christmas time, so there's plenty of money still to be made here in the month of July. And with the big Calgary Stampede going on, among others, these contestants are crisscrossing the continent, so there's a very good chance that the best cowboys and cowgirls in the land will be in Casper during the course of the week. That rodeo will start at 7:30 each night at the fairgrounds and run through Saturday night. Collegiate baseball, the Casper Spuds will be at home tonight at Lansing Field to take on Hastings, Nebraska in some Independence League play. The Spuds are 29-4. They have won an incredible 19 games in a row. Wow. That'll be a 6:30 start from Lansing Field tonight. In Major League Baseball, the Colorado Rockies lost to Cincinnati yesterday 6-0. They managed just 4 hits. That's the 10th time the Rockies have been shut out this season, and they sit at a pitiful 32-59 on the year, and those two teams will play again tonight in Ohio. American Legion Baseball, in Post 6 from Cheyenne, will be at home tonight to meet Scottsbluff, Nebraska in 1 9-inning game. Cheyenne Eagles will be at Scottsbluff tomorrow. The Cheyenne Hawks will be at Sheridan on Thursday. The Laramie A Rangers will take on Wheatland on Thursday. The Casper Oilers will be in the Bozeman, Montana tournament also on Thursday. And then also on Thursday, Cheyenne Post 6 and the Laramie AA Rangers will be in the Fort Collins tournament. National Football League, former Wyoming Cowboy Tashawn Gibson has been suspended by the NFL for 6 games for violating the league's PED protocols. Gibson owned up to it and said he took a supplement in the offseason, which he thought was legal. Gibson played the last 2 seasons with San Francisco. He is currently a free agent and wants to play this coming year. He's 34 years old and has been in the NFL for the last dozen years. Gibson played in last year's Super Bowl with the 49ers as a free agent, as a free safety, and had 5 tackles on their loss to Kansas City. That's it in sports.
Are you going to be covering the rodeo?
Every day.
Every day. Okay. That sounds... Just watch yourself, because we're going to get... Well, like when you were in California, it got really hot out there.
Oh, yeah. There were some days, triple digits was not unusual. Yeah. Now, late at night, hopefully, like once the sun kind of sets a little bit, it's not... Nearly as hot, Okay. The people I worry about, if you're out there in the carnival for the day and it's about 98, 99, like, drink water.
Drink plenty of water out there. It's still going to be a really good time, but we do hit some really warm days. Frank brought it back with him.
It's
his fault.
It's coming.
Yeah, it is.
You feel nice and hot.
This past weekend, I was out there watching a cattle branding around the Chugwater area, and we were all wearing sweaters.
Really?
Yeah. Quite a change.
Okay.
Right. Thank you, Frank. Coming up on some local business we got to take care of. We're going to roll into news time after that. National, local, update on the weather forecast. Let's Wake Up Wyoming. Six at a time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. It's a bit warmer today. I mean, it's starting off, the morning is really starting off nice, but it's just a bit warmer today than it was yesterday. And as you heard with Don Day's forecast, it just keeps getting warmer as the week goes on. Frank Gambino went all the way to the West Coast, and when he came back, he brought the hot air with him. Okay, it's only 7:06. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Mary. Entirely my fault, Miss Mary. I looked at the clock and I was ready for a guest to come on to the program, and then she's telling me I'm basically an hour ahead of myself. You're right, I am, which means we could have gotten until like the 9 o'clock hour and I would have already been walking out of the building.
Today's show is sponsored by Sweet and Spicy Toilet Paper. Because life is, well, life needs... Okay, I don't know why you would need this.
There's absolutely no reason for this whatsoever. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is just something to kind of make your day, especially if you're a Wyomingite and you love guns. Your favorite song.
Well, I like guns. I like the way they look. I like the shiny steel and the polished wood. I don't care if they're big or small. They're for sale, hell, I want them all. I like guns, I like guns, I like guns.
I came across a story a while ago, this is some years ago, that some company had decided to put in vending machines for bullets. Yeah, and now that's become a bit more of a popular thing, and some folks are just beside themselves about it. Now, just so you know, before I get into the story here, if you were to go to Chugwater, Wyoming, to the Tri-County Mercantile, easy to find. Right now, downtown Chugwater, Wyoming has 2 open businesses. Well, actually, no, there's 3. There's 2 restaurants. So as far as downtown goes. Now, the Mercantile, which looks like a grand old country store the way it should be, if you walk up to the register to pay, right next to the register is just a box. And in the box, it has a bunch of 9mm bullets. A lot of them. And I stuck my hand in there, and I can it's a tactile thing. You get your hand in there and sort of just let your fingers roll around a bunch of 9mm bullets in a big box. It feels so good. And so I picked up some in my hand and said, so basically you're saying I can just go ahead and buy a fistful of 9mm. And they said yes, and the price was not bad at all either. And so I did. I took a bunch, he counted them up, I shoved them in my pocket and pulled some money out, and there you go. It was so cool. Well, okay, that's not the only way to do it. According to Cowboy State Daily, and they're picking up a story that I'd done a while ago, but it's been a few years, and now the story's apparently cycled back around. How about adding 100 rounds of 9mm 115 grain full metal jacket to the grocery shopping list? Thanks to ammunition vending machines, that's already a thing with some southern grocery stores. A company called American Rounds has installed ammunition vending machine kiosks in fresh value stores in Alabama and Super C markets in Oklahoma. Do you see? So next they got to come here. Look, per capita, we have more guns than any other state. So according to the company, American Rounds has plans expanding all the way southeast and so on. But now we got to get them here. An inquiry from Cowboy State Daily to the American Rounds about whether they would bring the company expanding to Wyoming. Well, expanding to Wyoming wasn't answered by the publication at the time in the story, but could it be legal here? Well, yeah, but okay, here's how this works. If you're wanting to just dump a bunch of ammo out. Well, all right. When you go to buy the ammo, it's going to ask for your driver's license. All right, that just to make sure that you're okay with buying ammo. Because despite what some people tell you, there are some rules and regulations, and I'm not against... I don't like the idea of gun control, but we do want to keep certain things out of the hands of convicted felons that have been arrested for and done time for certain crimes with guns and so on. So they're dangerous. They're not responsible citizens. So, and what about people who are underage? Can they just walk up and buy? No, you better have a driver's license or something like that. The vending machines use ID verification, the story says, and AI-driven 3D facial recognition to ensure that only legally qualified people can walk away with boxes of rifle and pistol cartridges or shotgun shells, according to American Rounds. So, as the AI technology works as advertised, ammo vending machines would likely be legal in Wyoming, according to some state representatives, including one Jeremy Harrelson in Wheeling, Wyoming, as they spoke with him on Cowboy State Daily. He said, I don't see the age verification being an issue. He's worked on numerous firearm policy bills. Laws covering age requirements for ammunition purchases might not specify how a buyer must be age verified, but they have, again, AI for all of this. They're working on this technology that apparently is pretty good. So they say. Some licensed Wyoming ammunition dealers say they don't like the idea. Well, I can understand why they wouldn't, because they want you to go to their store. But you remember there was a time, for those old enough to remember, you'd walk into a restaurant or a bar, grocery store, and there were cigarette vending machines. Now, I don't know about you. I haven't seen a cigarette vending machine in a long time. I mean, does anybody even have them anymore? Well, one of the reasons I think they stopped with cigarette vending machines is underage people could walk over and just get them. Back then, there was no way to verify that someone buying from a cigarette vending machine was of a legal age. Okay. The story says tech-savvy identity thieves or old-fashioned smash-and-grab thieves might take advantage, say some store owners. They say people are going to break into them and steal ammo. Or if somebody steals your ID, well, there you go. So some people have a feeling of mistrust about this for it. But, as I agree with Cowboy State Daily, we do have a good demographic for this. If American Rounds or some other ammo vending machine company sets up shop in Wyoming, they likely do a brisk business, it says. I mean, I would do it. Just like I did. I did not need, even though I own a 9mm, it's a pistol. I didn't really need any rounds. I'm fine. But there I am in Chugwater, and there's this box right next to the register. I mean, there it is. Well, of course I'm going to. I got it just because. So if I saw an ammunition vending machine, yeah, I'd have to give it a try. I don't necessarily need them, but I mean, wouldn't you? So imagine being on a hunting trip and, oh my God, I need some ammo, so you run back to the store to the vending machine.
Hey, you should try our new prescription medication. Side effects include sneezing, wheezing, labored breathing, trouble speaking, sleeping, eating, hemorrhages, internal bleeding, feeling short of breath, nausea, dry mouth, coughing, fever, blockages of the ureter, choking, bloating, tremors, seizures, coma, stroke, or death, mood swings, muscle aches, weight gain, fugue states, osteoporosis, sudden psychosis, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, masochism, vampirism, sudden necromanticism, phantom limbs, fanaticism, chronic deja vu, transient telepathy, changes in your destiny, ancient forms of leprosy, chronic deja vu, loss of hair, weight, smell, taste, balance, vision, hearing, strength, loss of memory, will to live, sense of self. Do not take this medication if you are pregnant, breastfeeding, or a human person. Ask your doctor if it's right for you.
Glenn Woods. He talks to you, not at you. Be part of the show at 888-97-WOODS. This is Wake Up Wyoming on K2 Radio.
It's Wake Up Wyoming, 7:20 is the time. So if you're just joining me, I was talking about a Cowboy State Daily article. I'd heard about these things a few years ago, but now apparently a few states have quite a few. Ammunition vending machines. And some people it's in Alabama right now, and they want to expand. And some people are worried, well, you can just go ahead and just break into those vending machines. Well, if we keep them inside stores and the store is locked up, then, you should be okay. You don't just put it on a street corner somewhere. I mean, that's obviously not what you would do, but okay. Chet in Yoder says, I'll admit it's been a while for me, but I'm 14 and can't buy 12 shells for duck hunting. Okay. Well, I picture this, Chet. Imagine two guys having a gunfight, and they each run out of ammunition while shooting at each other. So they each run to their nearest vending machine to try to get some more. And one of them is having trouble with his card, so he's worried that he's a goner, right? But no, I think it's not a bad idea. It's just it's where you put the vending machines so they don't get stolen, as long as the technology is there to make sure, underage people or something like that can't just go up and buy whatever they want. It could be kind of a neat idea. Now, I had mentioned, and it reminded me, for those people who hadn't heard the story, I want to tell this again. Since I had mentioned at Chugwater, Wyoming, at the Tri-County Mercantile, right next to the register is a nice big box of 9mm shells. And they're all just dumped in there. And there's something tactilely satisfying about putting the fingers into all of these 9mm bullets and just rolling them around. And while I do have a 9mm pistol, I didn't need any, but I just wanted the experience of just buying a bunch of bullets like that, which is perfectly okay to do in a state like Wyoming. Imagine going to some other states and just putting a box of bullets out by the register like that. There's other states where there would be a major freak out about doing something like that. Well, okay, this is Wyoming. It's a bit different. But then that reminded me of something else that had happened. So I had stopped by. I was on my way to Cheyenne, and if I'm going to or from Cheyenne, whatever the case is, if I'm driving by Chugwater, I like to stop in. And I'll go ahead and have a burger there at the soda fountain. And then I cross the street and go say hi to my friends over at the Mercantile. And while I was standing there, I noticed that really nobody that I knew was there. They were all off working somewhere else. They had a young man working the store. And while standing there chatting with this young man, he looked like he was in his mid to late teens, something like that. It was my impression. I look over, and on the shelf right next to me is just some M&Ms, other candy bars, stuff like that. But I'm thinking, wow, I haven't had M&Ms in a long time. I love M&Ms. So I grab a bag of M&Ms. And I said, I think I'll get these. And he said, okay. And then he looked at me like real confused as to why I walked away. Well, I was heading right over to where the counter was. So he beat me out around the other side of the counter and was waiting for me there. But I continued walking right past him. Again, he shoots me this really confused look. And I walked up to the register, and I laid the M&Ms down by the register. In which case, he had held out to me this, you've seen these days, it's just this little thing in the palm of his hand. It's a small little device where I can just take my debit card and just swipe it and pay for the M&Ms. So in other words, the moment that I had said I wanted some M&Ms, he was able to, standing right there, just scan the M&Ms. Right there in the aisle. And I could have just taken my debit card and just tapped that little box he was holding. Not even swiped it, just tapped it. And it would have been paid for there. But I'm from a generation where if you want to pay for something, you go to the register, right? That's what I was doing. And that's why the young man seemed so confused. Why are you going all the way over here? Well, we're in a new era, aren't we? We don't have to do that anymore. Now, there was another thing recently. This is just technology. I mean, it's like having vending machines where you can buy bullets, which would totally freak out people in some other states. But there's some technology in the vending machine that makes sure that not just anybody can buy bullets from the vending machine. You got to be, first off, you have a clean criminal record and you got to be of age. So it's going to want to take a look at your face, and you're going to have to put your driver's license in there. And they'll do a quick scan, according to them. That's the technology that we have today. Now, a lot of the technology has changed. I like to go about once a week. I stop by Sam's Club. And the reason for me going to Sam's Club is I want to go get some food for the radio station. I spend a lot of time in the studios here, and so I store some food away. And the least expensive place to get it in bulk, like I like to get it, so I don't have to go shopping that often, really, is just to swing by Sam's Club. Now, typically, up until now at Sam's, as people leave, there's always a couple of ladies standing by the door, and they have a scanner in their hand, and they will scan the receipt of the person leaving, and then go to the cart that they're pushing and scan what's in the cart to make sure that what's on the receipt matches what's in the cart. And if you wonder why they do that, it's because you can imagine how much gets stolen from places like that. This helps cut down on the amount of stuff that's just walking out of the store without being paid for. The last time I went there, they have this, let's call it a square archway built. And the two ladies that scan are on the other side of the archway. It's right in front of the door, the exit. So I go walking under the archway like everybody else has to. And the lady scans my receipt and looks at her little scanner and says, "You're good. Have a nice day." And I stood there for just a moment and said, hang on a second now. When I pushed the grocery car through that new archway, did it scan everything in my cart? She said, yes, it did. We know what's in your cart. So all we have to do now is just scan your receipt to make sure your receipt matches what's in the cart. Well, that's going to make the line move a whole lot faster, but think of the technology there. I paid for everything. They just want to make sure I'm not stealing anything. I get it. It's unfortunate they have to do that, but there's a lot of thieves out there. I walk through the archway. It scans everything in my cart. She scans my receipt. We're done. Man, a lot of technology is changing. And they had experimented for a little while at airports, a place where you could just walk in if you wanted a snack, let's say, reach into the refrigerator or wherever and grab what you want and walk out. And you didn't have to stop and pay for anything. And the reason you were able to do that is you were a member of the club, and it already had your information. It knew that you were carrying the card in your wallet for the club, and the moment you walked in, it knows you. And as you walk out with the items, it's charging you for it. They tried experimenting with that for a while. It turned out in the long run not to work out so well, but you can see where they're trying to go with the technology. All right. Coming up on some local business that we have to take care of. Well, picture this. You go to the grocery store. For those people who don't like scanning your own items and paying for everything yourself, you pull up with your cart full of food at the grocery store, and it scans everything in your cart. And then all you have to do is swipe your card and bag it and leave. That saves you all of the scanning problems. That's where we're heading with all of it. Local news coming your way. Update on your weather forecast after that. Don Day with his extended weather forecast is at 7:45 with a lot warmer temperatures. I mean, a lot warmer coming our way. It's Wake Up Wyoming.
Covering world-ending catastrophes for years to come. It's Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods. Find content, chat live, and listen on demand on the Wake Up Wyoming mobile app.
7:36 the time. Couple of things here. Chet and Yoder, maybe you talked about it, you said I missed it, but isn't there places like Costco you go in to get what you want and then you leave and it charges you your debit card with no checkout? I don't know. There are some places that do that because, again, you walk in and it knows your card, let's say, with you, and it knows it. And so you can just load up and leave, and you just get billed. And I've heard of those places. I've never experienced one of those. Also, so I was out around the Chugwater area on a couple of ranches. There will be a gallery with this of pictures. And I brought a friend of mine who's a photographer with me. Focus West Photography is what he does. And he took pictures of ranchers out there help each other out, like a lot of Wyoming. Now, that's something I've actually, branding is something I've never been to. Yeah, remember, I'm an island boy, right? So I can take you around the islands. You want to go fishing? You want to go in the Gulf of Mexico? You want to go into the bay or the bayous? You want to go into the Everglades? I'll take you there. I can show you that. You want to go sailing? You want to learn how to operate either a sailboat or a motorboat or something like that? I'll show you that. You want to see some gators and other wildlife in the swamplands? I'll show you that. But as far as Wyoming and branding and stuff, I've been in Wyoming for like 16 years now, but I haven't seen that yet. I know of it, but this was an opportunity because I have friends out there to go witness it, get pictures of it, and these ranches, yeah, I mean, it's something, working the gate, something, they're going to give me some kind of a job. And my answer to that is trust me, you don't want me help what they were doing and get the story, which is what I did. So I was working in that sense. Now, if I had offered my assistance, I probably would have gotten a job. And they would have given me some next. You know what that's all about in the state of Wyoming. I'd never heard of such a thing. And then the story here goes on to talk about what corner crossing is, and I think most people out here know what it is. I had never heard of a corner crossing problem until I came out to Wyoming, and I was looking at a beautiful piece of land. It was a big butte, essentially. And I said, wow, I'd like to go up there. Who owns that? And someone said to me, oh, that's public land. That's you can go there if you want. And he said, but in order to do it, and he described to me the checkerboard pattern of some of the land out here. And so you're going to have to find where the corners are and cross over that corner to try to avoid stepping on someone's lane, because that could be seen as trespassing. And as this was explained to me, I was standing there thinking, you're kidding. Now, one thing they do have in England, and England is completely blowing it. Their liberal government that they called conservative has just lost to a more liberal government. England's going to be a mess, like they aren't already. But one thing they do that I like, if you would like, let's say you're on one side of England, way up north area on the west side, and you want to walk all the way down to the east side, Cliffs of Dover. You can walk that, all of it. And there are pathways that go through people's property, and you're allowed access. You can just walk it. Just go. And you just got to remember, if there's a gate there, you got to close the gate. You got to be respectful of people's property. But they do have an access way that allows people just to walk cross country. And if somebody has farmland, well, people are allowed to cross the farmland. Now, there are rules, and you're going to be respectful if you're doing this, but you're allowed to do it. And I've thought about it before and wondered, couldn't we do something similar with corner crossing here in Wyoming? I mean, just make it so when it comes to a corner piece of property that someone would be allowed to step up and over the fence, whatever that entails. Or you just make a throughway and just let the property owners know that this is access. We're allowed to do this. We'll find out if the Supreme Court decides to take up the case.
What about a talk show host?
Talk show host, that's good.
I think I'd be good at that. I talk to people all the time. Someone even told me once they thought I'd be a good talk show host.
Really?
Yeah, a couple of people. I don't get that, though. Where do you start?
Well, that's where it gets tricky.
I just walk into a building and say, I want to be a talk show host.
Well, they tend to give those jobs people that are, in broadcasting.
Well, that's really not fair.
The only show broadcasting from a bunker under Devil's Tower. Hey, it's cold down here. Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods, 6 a.m. weekdays on AM 1030 and FM 95.1.
Changes? It could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
7:46 the time off. We go to talk to Don Day from Day Weather. Now, Don, I'm going to give a weather analogy here. Follow me on this one. When I get to the pearly gates, I hope St. Peter doesn't just toss me down into hell, but he slowly eases me into it so I don't have to take it all at once, which is exactly what's going to happen with the weather here over the next couple of days.
Yeah, we're going to step up slowly with temperatures here today and tomorrow. It'll be plenty warm, but we're not going to get to that really hot core of temperatures. That starts Thursday, probably goes through Monday and maybe Tuesday. I think the hottest days in the state will probably happen over the weekend. Sunday and Monday are the 2 days that look the hottest, but it's going to be a long stretch.
Okay.
5-6 days here of many areas that will be above 90.
But I am noticing the good news is if you still wanted to get outside and do something, you get out there in the early morning, you have a window of opportunity.
Absolutely. The evenings and the mornings are going to provide breaks from the heat. There's not going to be very much wind at all here in the coming days. And so, yeah, it is going to be hot by anybody's standards. We'll probably have some records tied or broken. This will be a situation you don't want to mess with. in terms of overexerting yourself or getting a situation where you're working really hard mid to late afternoon in the 100-degree heat in some areas. So take advantage of those mornings.
And the one time that you're going to hear Wyomingites complain that there isn't any wind.
Yeah, that is really true.
Yeah.
This happens. It's interesting the way the weather works, when you have situation we need to watch with, as this heat wave moves further east, the wind turbines aren't going to be pushing very much.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Don. Don Day with day weather off. We go to the ice box. Thank God it's cool in there where Frank Gambino is waiting by. Okay, Frank, every time I think this cannot be topped, and their pit bull jumped out of the car and decided to charge one of the bulls, in which case the bull turns and headbutts the pit bull almost all the way back to the road. The dog gets back in the car having learned that lesson.
I saw a bunch of bison yesterday by the National Elk Refuge.
Wow.
And I couldn't, everyone was very well behaved.
Very good.
Except you're driving along and then all of a sudden, they pull over to the side of the road, but their car is down over here, but they're standing in the shoulder. I'm like,
yes.
Move away from the road a little bit. They have their binocs and everything else. Like, not only do you have to watch for the bison and the animals, you have to watch for the people.
Yes.
Watching the animal.
Well, this is why I have to agree with those, signs out there to keep your animal on a leash. I think a lot of the tourists need to be kept on leashes too. That's another topic for another day. Mm-hmm. But no, if you have a pet like a dog, keep it on a leash, because for some reason, various reasons, I think, dogs will take a look at the bison and decide to go after it. There's this tiny little black dog that you can fit in one hand. And it decides to get out there and try to herd a couple of these big guys, which are having none of it. Yeah. And I do appreciate this. You could hear the husband and wife in the background behind the phone talking. And she said, were you going to go out there and rescue him? No.
Right, exactly.
At least he's smart enough. I am not going to go out there. At that point, one of the bulls took his back leg and tried to kick at the dog. He missed. But that could have been devastating to the little thing.
Yeah, that could have been a field goal from 50 yards out.
Oh, my Lord, yeah. So if you're bringing your dog to Yellowstone or someplace like that, yes, keep it on a leash, because for some reason they can't resist.
Oh, and they don't. All right, the 77th annual Central Wyoming PRCA Rodeo kicks off tonight at the fairgrounds in Casper. It's Cowboy Christmas, so there's plenty of money to be made in July, and with the big Calgary Stampede Rodeo going on, among others, these contestants are crisscrossing the continents. There's a very good chance that the best cowboys and cowgirls will be in Casper during the course of the week. Rodeo starts at 7:30 each night at the fairgrounds and will run through Saturday night. Collegiate baseball, the Casper Spuds will be at home tonight at Lansing Field to take on Hastings, Nebraska, in some Independence League play. The Spuds are 29-4. They have won an incredible 19 games in a row. They have a 6:30 start at Lansing Field this evening. Major League Baseball, the Colorado Rockies lost to Cincinnati 6-0. They managed just 4 hits. This is the 10th time the Rockies have been shut out this season, and they sit at a pitiful 32-59 mark on the year. Those two teams will play against tonight in Cincinnati. American Legion Baseball, Cheyenne Post 6 from Cheyenne at home tonight to meet Scottsbluff, Nebraska in one 9-inning game. Cheyenne Eagles will be at Scottsbluff tomorrow. The Cheyenne Hawks at Sheridan on Thursday. Laramie A Rangers will take on Wheatland on Thursday. The Casper Oilers will be in the Bozeman tournament also on Thursday. And on Thursday, Cheyenne Post 6 and the Laramie AA Rangers will be in the Fort Collins tournament. National Football League, former Wyoming Cowboy Tashawn Gibson has been suspended for 6 games for violating the league's PED protocols. Gibson owned up to it and says he took a supplement in the offseason that he thought was legal. Gibson played the last 2 seasons with San Francisco, is currently a free agent and wants to play again this coming year. He is 34 years old and has been in the NFL for the last dozen years. Gibson played in last year's Super Bowl with the 49ers as a free safety and had 5 tackles in their loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. That's it in sports.
I just suddenly realized it's totally worth going to the fair and rodeo in Casper. Doesn't matter how hot it's going to get. Have you seen the ice cream they have there?
Well, all the time, yeah. And you better eat that stuff fast.
Oh, yeah. They got some of the best ice cream trucks there.
Yeah.
And every year that I go, because, we have to go there and stand there for a while.
I know.
So I found that it's probably best to go there first, and then people can just go ahead and shake my sticky hand.
Yeah. You know what? There's places you can go and kind of hide out for a little bit.
talking with
Casper. While you're working our program, you can live here in a fully furnished apartment. So we serve single-parent families. Many of the people we serve are homeless and coming to us from living at the Mission or living with friends or family, kind of what they call couch surfing. But we also assist single-parent families who mom or dad is coming out of incarceration or maybe coming out of a drug and alcohol treatment program, the cycle of poverty. There's abuse involved or family violence. So we have a website with an inquiry form, and what we do when we receive an inquiry is call the potential participant. We do serve people all over the state of Wyoming and sometimes a little bit beyond, and then we bring them in and they begin working our program. Some of the requirements of the program are that our participants need to work. So we require to have a job working 25 hours per week, and we do have a few people that come to us that are possibly on disability. There's some limitations with working only 20 hours a week, so we make accommodations for that.
As far as people in the areas, or any way the general public can help out Seton House?
Absolutely. So we provide these fully furnished apartments. And when I say fully furnished, we provide linens, towels, kitchen tools, pots and pans, dishes, furniture, microwaves, appliances. So we would love to have the support of the community for donations of those things in kind, but also financial support for the staff that we have working here to support the people we're serving.
So what's the website address and how can people find you?
SetonHouseCasper.org. We also have a Facebook page. We offer a personal and professional development class here. It's called Connections to Success, and we license this program from a parent nonprofit out of St. Louis, Missouri. And the Connections to Success personal and professional development class is really a commitment that a person makes to oneself to take a deep dive into possibly the reasons they are unemployed or the reasons they have become homeless.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough. But if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and if family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
For over 40 years, one day he told me that he was having problems in his classes. I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer.
House Democrats are meeting behind closed doors. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, discussing President Biden and worries about his mental ability.
It's top secret. Members aren't allowed to have their cell phones in there to prevent any leaks, as we've seen in the past few days. Lots of leaks when members start texting the press. So they're trying to avoid that and allow a safe space for members to speak. We're not even sure if the president is going to call in.
Fox's Aisha Hasni outside that Washington meeting. Some have called for President Biden to stop running for re-election, which he is refusing to do. Adamant he'll stay in the race. Senate Democrats will hold their own meeting later. Former President Trump tells Fox he believes Vice President Harris will ultimately be his November opponent.
I think they are very concerned about the vote if it's not her. They are very, they're gun shy. They don't want to do it any other way.
There will be a Trump rally tonight in Doral, Florida, while President Biden gathers with U.S. allies at a NATO summit that starts today. Thursday, he'll be under the most scrutiny, answering questions at a solo news conference. As for the meeting itself, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says,
the summit will deepen our extraordinary transatlantic bond and strengthen our shared security.
A big focus on helping Ukraine even more fend off Russia's invasion as the number of Ukrainians killed in a Russian missile barrage yesterday on 5 cities rises to 42. It's going to be a very hot day for Hurricane Beryl victims in Texas, where there are still more than 2 million power outages, meaning a lot of people have no air conditioning.
Here in Galveston, it's supposed to feel like 103 degrees today.
Fox Weather's Katie Burns says crews have a lot of work to do with a lot of power lines down.
Officials warn it'll take a few days to get power fully back. We've got businesses closed here, traffic lights out. Some homes are missing roofs, and at least one is completely destroyed. Its walls ripped off from a likely tornado.
Beryl is a tropical depression now and could cause more flooding as it keeps moving toward the Great Lakes. America's listening to Fox News.
Weather's warming up, and I can't wait to get to the ranch this summer to paint, to roam. Cool summer nights with my family, being out by the campfire. I remember when I couldn't do a lot of these things because the altitude created a constant, unbearable pain for me. My wife, Tanya, insisted that I tried Relief Factor. I didn't think it would work for me. It's a 100% drug-free daily supplement. It's supposed to help your body fight pain naturally. I mean, I went to the best doctors in the world and they couldn't help me. I didn't think this would work. Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients. It doesn't just mask the pain. It reduces or even eliminates it by reducing the inflammation in your body. Wherever you're hurting, back, neck, joint, muscles, in 3 weeks or less, you will start to feel the difference all day, every day. I've been taking Relief Factor for years now, and it has truly changed my life. ReliefFactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF. Save on your first order, 800-4-RELIEF, ReliefFactor.com.
Here is the latest from K2 Radio News.
Today is the day. For the 77th year in a row, the Central Wyoming Fair and Rodeo Parade will hit downtown Casper. The parade will start at 10 a.m., and if we do have a map of the parade route, you can find it at k2radio.com. This year's theme is Cowboy Mardi Gras. If you head out to the fairgrounds, you'll find carnival rides. They've got a butterfly attraction, a sea lion show, a comedy hypnotist, and incident to watch and set off fireworks. Witness statements detailed a confrontation about personal use of fireworks between a small group and the male who had been shot. Individuals identified by witnesses who wish to remain anonymous can submit information through Crime Stoppers of Central Wyoming. The Bureau of Land Management aims to gather about 586 wild horses to bring the received public input in February. All removed horses will be taken to the Wheatland Off-Range Corral or Rock Springs' wild horse holding facility. When they arrive, they'll be checked by a veterinarian and ready for the agency's wild horse adoption and sales programs. And the subject of our last news story today is an Iowa man named Jason Halkias, and he is on a mission to eat at every Pizza Ranch location in the country. He's coming to Casper on July 25th to eat at the chain as he makes his way through Wyoming, Kansas, Colorado, and Montana. He has so far eaten at over 175 pizza ranches. He told reporters that it allows him to travel and see different parts of the country. Halkias has been frequenting the chain for about 10 years. He still has 50 locations in 10 states left. There are 2 locations in Wyoming, one in Casper and another in Gillette. Today, the franchise has nearly 200 locations. Reporting from Casper, I'm Colby Fedor.
No matter what your business needs, whether you're just starting, established, or aiming to expand, our deposit products are tailored to help you reach your goals. Platte Valley Bank. Member FDIC. Sunny skies, comfortably warm, mid-80s today, mid-50s tonight. Getting a little warmer, hitting the upper 80s on Wednesday. Then the heat is on. We're going to be in the 90s from Thursday all the way through Monday, even approaching 100 degrees by this weekend. Between now and the weekend, only a few isolated thunderstorms at most.
Six the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. It is a Tuesday. Okay, I will have open phones. Supposed to have a guest coming up at 8:20. So let's hold off on open phones for just a bit. But hang on. Someone sent me something. Oh, you gotta hear this.
Today's show is sponsored by Squid-Flavored Donuts, bringing the flavor of the ocean to your breakfast pastry.
Oh, so kissable when someone has one of those. Okay, so I would like to thank Joseph for sending me this, because this is just beautiful. Joseph sends me a lot of things to watch. This is a young lady, college age, and she, of course, has been completely misinformed about how money works. And also, I don't know how she got this far in life. I admit, I'll flat out admit to you, there's things that I'm really good at, that I excel at, and there's things that I absolutely suck at. We're all that way. And unfortunately, I'm not really good in math, which just annoys the hell out of me, because I enjoy higher math. Like when I watch a theoretical physicist do those long formulas to prove something in the universe. I love stuff like that, but my as much as I understand how the formula works, I can't run the numbers. I get a brain freeze, and I hate that. But I am better at it than this young lady. This young lady is having a conversation about billionaires. And
think about that.
Okay, now I'm gonna play that again, because if you know something about math, you know her math sucks on this. It doesn't work that way. But also, she's gotten all the way to the college age, and she's talking like she really thinks she knows what she's in general. But if they went through public school, they don't have to be leftists. If they went through public school, they don't know how the money works. They don't know how the economy works. This is why I know I've told you this story before, but let's do it again. I was watching Occupy Wall Street, and I saw the two dumbest people at Occupy Wall Street. The first one was the guy who said that we need to get off the money system and go back to the barter system because of what money does to people, and money's evil and how corrupt money can be. And okay, you see, I want to see him go to buy a house and drag all of his stuff, or go to buy a car and drag all of his stuff down to the dealership or to the real estate office to try to negotiate all of the stuff he has for the house he wants to buy. He doesn't understand what money is or how it works. But the next one was the dumbest, and these are both college kids at the time, who actually said to the crowd with a megaphone, I think that everybody should be allowed to print their own money at home. That way everybody could always have as much money as they needed. And she didn't understand why everybody was laughing at her. Which is why I've said before, money is not the economy. Money is what we use to trade the economy. Money is, it just trades stuff with money. The economy is the stuff we create. So no, someone worth $10 billion does not have a big bank vault somewhere with $10 billion in cash sitting in there and gold and stuff like that. They're worth it when you take a look at the businesses they own and other businesses they invest in that they're part owners of. The production that comes from those businesses will add up to, theoretically, about $10 billion. So no, you cannot take someone like Elon Musk and just have him give his money away. If he did that, he would have to start closing down businesses and liquidating stuff in order to give people all of that money. And that would mean putting a lot of people out of work. Okay? Because all of that money that he doesn't have, that he's worth, represents production and represents jobs. And she doesn't understand it. So now, I'm going to let you listen to this one more time.
There's 10 billion people on Earth, and Elon Musk has $200 billion. Can't he just give each person $1 billion?
You're amazing. You figured this all out already.
And here's the twist.
Let's hear it.
He will still have $190 billion left over.
Think about that.
Isn't that concerning?
No, it's not at all. What's concerning to me, young lady, is that you made it all the way through high school, middle school. I'll even go back to elementary school. They should have started teaching you about money back in elementary school. And then middle school and then high school, and you graduated not knowing anything about how the economy works or money. By the time you get out of high school, and she thinks, and the way she talks about that and the expression on her face, she really thinks she's got it all figured out, doesn't she? She really thinks she has that figured out. And yet there's not a single thing that she said there that she got correct. Now, where did she learn that garbage from? Yeah, but I'm watching this young lady thinking, oh, my Lord. RH in Wiggins, Colorado. Hi, Glenn. Let's say, for argument's sake, that we did give every person on Earth $1 billion. Tomorrow, everybody retires rich. Who will buy a hamburger? Who will you buy a hamburger from? Who will pick up your garbage? Work, right? But then also, if we did get everybody on Earth $1 billion, what would that do to the value of those dollars? Right, the money would be completely useless at that point when you understand what money really is.
Ain't no way you'll ever find me behind the wheel of an electric car. I want that 10 miles per gallon, oil leaking, no muffler having, screaming V8 driving down the highway.
Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods on K2 Radio. Join the conversation at 888-97-WOODS.
Coming up on 820, it's Wake Up Wyoming. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. On the phone with me right now is Marilyn, who is CEO of the Independent Electrical Contractors of Rocky Mountain. Thanks for coming on this morning. I understand, of course, Wyoming has always really big on energy and producing electricity. I understand you have an opportunity for people to learn the industry and get in on it.
That's right. Good morning, Glenn. Thank you for having me on. IEC Rocky Mountain, Independent Electrical Contractors Rocky Mountain, is one of 53 apprenticeship training programs around the country. We are based in Colorado in our offices, but have been serving Colorado and Wyoming for decades, and have been offering apprenticeship program and membership in our trade association to contractors in Colorado and Wyoming for a number of years, and are serving our apprentices through an online program. But we, beginning in August, will be offering our apprenticeship classes in person in Wyoming at Laramie County Community College in Cheyenne, and are very excited to be expanding our reach and offering those in-person classes now in Cheyenne. Okay. Now, is there a certain age limit here that you're looking for? I mean, bottom age limit, top age limit. Yeah, so anyone, apprentices can work beginning at the age of 16. We can take apprentices, as they graduate from high school. You don't have to have a high school diploma. You do have to pass a math test, an aptitude test, to make sure that you have the right math skills to enter the program, and I can talk about that in a moment. But we'll take anyone at any age. The beauty of being an electrician is that it's a great opportunity to enter as a young person. It's a wonderful opportunity for veterans who are transitioning from their military careers back into civilian life. I have even had apprentices enroll in our program as late as the age of 60, looking for that final phase of their career. Okay. So it is a wonderful earn while you learn opportunity. Most of our apprentices are working full-time in the field. The tuition and books are paid in most cases by employers, but they do have to go through the minimum 288 or 576 hours of classroom instruction, while also getting 8,000 hours of work experience in order to be licensed in the electrical industry. I think one of your questions should be, does your family allow you to operate power tools at home? And if the answer is no, don't take them. That would immediately disqualify me. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Well, we can train you to do that too, believe me. We have a very great relationship with our local police department, and we have an officer who wants to do all kinds of projects at home, and he's known for stopping by and asking us, so how do I do this, or is this something I call a professional for? Okay, so we can handle it either way. Well, Marilyn, I think what I'm most impressed with, though, is for those people who are looking to get into some kind of a trade, some kind of a skill, right away, a stopping point for a lot of people is, how do I afford that? But you're providing a pathway where they can afford that. That is correct. It is an earn while you learn opportunity. As I mentioned, most of our contractors, most of our electrical contractors are paying the tuition and the books. There are also opportunities. We have great relationships with workforce development centers that, candidates that are eligible are also able to get tuition paid, even if they're not yet working in the field. As a trade association serving electrical contractors, one of the things that we do is focus very heavily in working with high schools to let high schools know that there's opportunity to serve in the electrical trade. We want people that don't even know this is an opportunity for them. We have such a shortage of skilled workers right now in the trades and construction in general, not just electrical. But we really want them to know that they can start as an apprentice. They will double their salaries by the time they graduate in 4 years from the program. Once they get licensed, the national average for an electrician is about $66,000 a year, but there isn't anybody in Colorado and Wyoming getting a license that is starting at that salary. Salaries are much higher, and then, of course, the more you're experienced, the more that's going to continue to grow.
Okay. And I would bet that for those people who are thinking about longer-term benefits beyond salary, those are probably provided as well.
That is correct. Our employers are great at providing additional benefits, 401k programs, health insurance, and other benefits. Many of our contractors, they're focused on doing quality work, they're focused on safety, and they're focused on making sure that they're an employer of choice. Because it is so competitive. Once you hire somebody in the industry that wants to be in the industry, our employers work really hard. And the other thing I'll say, specific to Wyoming, we have contractors in Cheyenne, members of our association that they're employing 3 to 5 people. We have other large contractors that are employing as many as 50 that are doing work right there in Cheyenne and in Casper, even in mining communities and agricultural communities across Wyoming. Our contractors do residential, commercial, industrial, solar, low voltage, you name it. The University of Wyoming, some of the military establishments across the state capitol, residential service work, even the data centers that are going in and around Cheyenne and other parts of the state. All of that work is being done by electrical contractors who are investing in employees serving as apprentices. And that's why we're so excited to be able to offer this in-person program at Laramie Community College.
Okay. So let's get people there. First off, we'll probably want to drive them to a website where they can just look up more information. Where do they go?
They go to iecrm.org, iecrm.org. Independent Electrical Contractors, Rocky Mountain. Okay. Once they get there, is there a process there that they go through to sign up, or how do they start finding out if they can get into the course? Yes. Once they go, they will click on apprenticeship. Excuse me. And if they're just entering the trade, there's an entire tutorial on what they need to do to register, to sign up. We can, if they're not currently working in the field and want to start the program, they can pay as a self-pay student. Classes are beginning August 5th. For our first and second year students, we may have apprentices that are already enrolled in our online program and may be interested in going in person. They're already in Wyoming but want to go in person now that we have this in-person opportunity for them to be in class. We also do, if you're in Wyoming and you're not close to Cheyenne, we still do offer that online program for our apprentices. They also can register through their electrical contractor, through their employer. So for anyone who is an electrical contractor, they can reach out as well, and they can register their employees to enter the apprenticeship program. Okay. So there's 2 ways to go about getting signed up for classes. And you mentioned Casper Community College. Is it other community colleges around the state of Wyoming, or just that one? Right now, it's just Laramie County Community College, the Cheyenne location. Okay. But we do we have electrical contractors in Rock Springs and in Casper, in Torrington, as well as Cheyenne. So any electrical contractor in the state that's interested in continuing the education or beginning the education of an apprentice that is employed by them, or if you're not currently in the field and want to become an electrician, there are multiple ways that we can get you engaged, either with an employer or directly enrolled in the program in Cheyenne. I personally know of an electrician in the Casper area who's constantly screaming that he needs more employees, so this would be a great program for them to get into. One more time with that website address. Let's get them there. Yes, one more time with the website is iecrm.org, iecrm.org. Or you can Google us at Independent Electrical Contractors Rocky Mountain. And the thing I would say about that employer that needs more people, we also do career fairs and a whole bunch of other workforce development and outreach to try to grow the industry. That's the point of all of this. We need more people skilled and licensed as we have retirements, as the growth, as you mentioned at the top of our discussion, the growth of the energy sector is only going to continue to be strong, and we need people to fill those opportunities.
Thank you, Marilyn. It's Wake Up Wyoming.
He's not a politician, but his pants are on fire. Could someone grab an extinguisher? Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods.
8:36 the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. Okay, I had to put it off for some guests and some other things, but now we get into the most dangerous portion of this program.
Warning. Wake Up Wyoming is about to enter daily open phones. This means that anyone will be allowed to call in and talk about anything. I mean, imagine if we actually allowed you on air to say anything you wanted. Scary, right? Well, we're just that brand of crazy. If you are offended by what other people think, then maybe you want to tune out right about now. Just saying. If you should choose to call, just remember, the more funny and interesting you are, the longer Glenn will keep you on the line. Obnoxious jerks will be hung up on. Dave, all right, strap in, and let's do this thing.
888-97 Woods, the phone number. That's 888-97-WOODS. Talk about what I'm talking about. Change the subject. That'd be fine by me. Ladies and gentlemen, apparently we are living in the end times.
So put on your respirator and let's fix that generator. And while we're out, we'll mend our fences too. See, I'm not afraid of dying, just got reasons for surviving. I want one more day in the apocalypse with you.
Two stories here. Harvard Business School. Yes, that's how you pronounce that. Harvard Business School. America's EV charging network, they say, is just a complete shambles. Now, okay, we had a network going. We had a charging network. We had some stations out there. There's no network going. But all right, here's the story. The study from the Harvard Business School, led by, it talks about who did it and the names involved, and you won't remember, so don't worry about it, has unveiled a series of critical challenges facing the electric vehicle charging infrastructure in the United States. By analyzing over 1 million charging station reviews, the research has identified multiple key areas of concern that are potentially hindering widespread adoption of electric vehicles. Well, it's more than just this. Trust me, people are not buying electric vehicles for more than just the reasons they're given here. But let's read on. This will be part of it. One of the most pressing issues highlighted in the study is the reliability of charging stations. EV drivers frequently encounter broken or malfunctioning equipment, making the charging process far less convenient than traditional gas refueling. They attribute the problem to lack of maintenance, stating no one is maintaining these stations. Now, okay, this unreliability has, it stands a mere at 78%. Okay? 78%. Now, this goes back to something that I was talking about a while ago and proves my point as far as I'm concerned. So the state of Wyoming got a bunch of money from the federal government. Here, go get people to build charging stations. And it was supposed to go to business owners as sort of a partial buy-in by the business owners to erect charging stations at gas stations, convenience stores, hotels, other things like restaurants, stuff like that. And the answer, a lot of people weren't going for it. In fact, very few people in the state of Wyoming put in charging stations. And I said at the time, one of the reasons that they won't is this. Even if they did, if the charging station is either not making money or breaking even, at some point it's going to break down. And I know it's going to break down because everything eventually has problems and breaks down. I don't care what you own. Eventually it's going to have a problem and break down. It just does. That's the way things work. And so at some point, an electric charging station breaks down. Now, to the business owner, if the charging station is either not making money or breaking even, it is not worth their time, effort, and money to fix the charging station. If the charging station was making them all sorts of money, Well, they would fix it immediately. The moment it broke down, they would be on it. Because, I mean, it's a moneymaker. It's a gold mine, if you will. So there's no way they would let the thing stop. But if it's breaking even or losing money, then why bother to fix it? And that's exactly what we're seeing right here. There's about 78% of the charging stations, according to this Harvard University study, that are just not working, and no one's repairing them. They were built, but they're not being repaired. Study also uncovered unexpected source of frustration for EV drivers, the phenomenon of getting iced. The term is coined by EV owners who it refers to instances where drivers of the internal combustion engine, ICE, vehicles occupy parking spots designated for EV charging stations. Oh, I didn't know that. I'd never heard of that before. So somebody needs to recharge their electric vehicle, and they pull into a station, and there's ICE vehicles, internal combustion engines. That's cool. Parked in their spots. Now what do? Holy cow. There's other problems, too, but I think you get the idea as to what they're having. But it's nice to see that one of the things that I was talking about earlier turns out to be coming exactly true the way that I said it is. All right, off to the phones we go. 888-97 Woods, that's 888-97 WOODS. Jude is on the phone. Hey, Jude.
Hey, good morning, Glenn. I think you got my note this morning.
Yeah.
I am absolutely livid. 2,000 acres of poison panels going in on the west side of my other property, 28 miles outside of Casper. 2,000 acres
of
solar panels.
What?
Okay.
First, before we were going, what was on that property before? Was it being used for anything?
Well, it was a cattle ranch,
okay.
And the fellow that bought a lot of that land out there must have overextended himself to the point where he's almost broke.
Right.
Because he's sitting down at the dinner table with one of the energy companies, and they're throwing a lot of facts and figures and money at him right now. I did a little research on some of it. Of course, you know me on that. Mm-hmm. One of the problems is it's called an electromagnetic radiation wave. Okay, so they tell you in when you start digging through their stuff to keep your windows closed, to install an EF protector, to maybe wear a suit. You can get headaches. Your well might get poisoned by antifreeze because they need it for cooling on the property for that. Okay, 10 gallons of water per megawatt hour is going to destroy the aquifer. It's going to dry out your wells. In Natrona County or Natrona, Highland, all the way to Shoshone, your wells are dead, people. If this thing goes in, your wells are gone. There's no fire suppression unless they suck the water out of the ground. That's how your wells are going to go dry. Okay, they're offered anywhere from $300 to $3,000 per acre. At 200 acres, he's either going to get a minimum of $600K or a maximum of about $6 million. I just want to know, when did I become responsible for someone else's piss-poor judgment in business and got themselves in a bind? Why should the rest of us pay the price?
Okay.
So
now, do you have, I know this is private property here, but so I guess you don't have any say in this because it's private property, right?
No, it's private property. That's right. But I'll tell you what, I called my lawyer last night, and I'm waiting for him to call me back because I'm not going to go down without a fight. Mm-hmm. We know what he even admitted this to me, the man that I talked to that's having this done, that he's in financial bind.
Right.
Okay, I wanted to ask him, so what was your price to sell out America or your neighbors? I'm serious.
Okay.
You got to install an EMF shield on your home. You can move away. Your property values go to crap. Recycling and landfill issues. Climate impact. Did you know around these facilities, the degrees of temperature will increase between 5 and 10 degrees?
Do me a favor. You got this information from someplace, and it seems like a pretty good long list. Can you send me where you got this? I'd like to go ahead and review it.
Okay, I will definitely send. Oh, in fact, I'll just send you a copy of everything I sent to the commissioners.
That sounds perfect.
And you know what, guys? This is the time to clean house. I don't know a single one of them that's got a hair that's going to back us up on any of this. They are out for big business, and it's time we clean house. 7 of 10 reps need gone, and we cannot elect Bertolio or Hendry or anybody like Peter Nicolason into office ever again, or Sweeney's. These people have sold out our state. They have sold us out for money to line their own pockets and their buddy systems.
All right. Thank you, Jude.
All right, I'll send it to you, Glenn.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for the minutes.
Sure.
I'm just livid.
It's Wake Up Wyoming.
At White House Senior Living, our residents feel right at home. Our vibrant facility offers delightful activities and outings, round-the-clock professional care, and exquisite house-made meals.
Well, I've been eating everything that's put in front of me. I've been eating all Italian foods, basically.
And ice cream.
And ice cream, chocolate chip ice cream.
White House Senior Living, where residents feel like presidents.
Listen to Glenn Woods anywhere you roam with the Wake Up Wyoming mobile app. This is AM 1030 K2 Radio.
The Icebox, Frank Gambino is waiting by. Frank came across this article off of one of our radio stations, K2, in Cheyenne, Wyoming. From Iowa man is heading to Wyoming. He's on the quest to eat at every Pizza Ranch restaurant in the nation.
Why?
Yeah. And when I take
seriously,
yes.
Why?
Well, we all need goals in life.
That's not a goal. That's a. I mean, get a job.
Okay, now here's what I'd like you to do, though. I'll go ahead and send this to you because I just want you to get a look at the guy, who's probably a very nice guy.
Yeah, probably
but
is.
It looks exactly like the kind of dork who would do something like this.
I don't understand why. Is he getting discounts?
Well, no, I don't know. But let me ask you, or does he get paid to go around the country?
Right, exactly. I mean, is Pizza Ranch hiring this guy as a promotional tour that I'm going to go to everyone I can find?
Yeah. Okay.
Because there's no other logical explanation for it.
Now, let me ask you, Frank, just kind of curious here. Do you have any goals that are just stupid?
But all of my goals are stupid.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
But I'm not going to go to the same restaurant in 50 states.
Okay.
Although the chicken is good there.
I just wanted. Oh, hey, I love their buffet.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All righty. Well, once is enough. In the National Football League, former Wyoming Cowboy Tashawn Gibson has been suspended for 6 games for the upcoming season for violating the league's PED protocols. Gibson owned up to it and says he took a supplement in the offseason he thought was legal. Gibson played the last 2 seasons with San Francisco, is currently a free agent, and wants to play this coming season. He's 34 years old and has been in the NFL for the last 12 years. He played in last year's Super Bowl with the 49ers as a free safety and had 5 tackles in their loss to Kansas City. The 77th annual Central Wyoming PRCA Rodeo kicks off tonight at the fairgrounds in Casper. It's Cowboy Christmas, and so there's a lot of money to be made for these cowboys in Calgary. So with the big Calgary Stampede going on this week, among others, these contestants are crisscrossing the continent. So there's a very good chance that the best cowboys and cowgirls will be in Casper during the course of the week. Rodeo will start at 7:30 each night at the fairgrounds and run through Saturday night. Collegiate baseball, the Casper Spuds will be at home tonight at Lansing Field to take on Hastings, Nebraska in some Independence League play. Spuds are 29-4 on the year. They've won an incredible 19 games in a row. There'll be a 6:30 start from Lansing Field tonight. Major League Baseball, the Colorado Rockies lost to Cincinnati yesterday 6-0. They managed just 4 hits. That's the 10th time they've been shut out this season. They sit at a pitiful 32-59 on the year, and those 2 teams will play again tonight in Cincinnati. American Legion Baseball, the Cheyenne Post 6 from Cheyenne at home tonight to meet Scottsbluff, Nebraska in 1 9-inning game. The Cheyenne Eagles will be at Scottsbluff tomorrow. Cheyenne Hawks will be at Sheridan on Thursday. Laramie A Rangers will take on Wheatland on Thursday. The Casper Oilers also on Thursday will be in the Bozeman, Montana tournament. Post 6 from Cheyenne as well. The Laramie AA Rangers will be in the Fort Collins tournament starting on Thursday. That's it in sports.
Did you just say that somebody had played professional football for 12 years?
That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
That is extraordinary long time because I mentioned before, NFL stands for not for long.
Yeah. What's the average?
6 years,
6
maybe.
years, wow.
On average.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. He's doing double time there.
Yeah, so he's got to hang in there and keep his nose clean and keep playing. He's a good guy. He just can't be taking stuff you can't take.
I can imagine the kicker would last that long. He doesn't do anything.
No,
but nobody else.
No.
All right, thank you, Frank. Coming up on some local business, we got to take care. We're going to roll into news time after that. Hello, Mike in Wheatland. I see your note. I'm going to answer you coming up next. You can text me using the Wake Up Wyoming app. Just hit the chat mode. That's free at your app store, by the way. Just type in Wake Up Wyoming. It's also open phones. Next hour of the program, 888-97 Woods, 888-97 WOODS.
Is it Mo?
Six the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. It's a Tuesday. It's Wake Up Wyoming. Did I mention that already? Yeah. 888-97 Woods, the phone number, 888-97 WOODS.
Today's show is sponsored by Squid Flavored Donuts.
Yum.
Bringing the flavor of the ocean to your breakfast pastry.
After someone has one of those, you just want to smooch them.
Warning, this show contains reference to guns, liberty, limited government, low taxation, the cult of climate change, free thinking, cigar smoking, short people, rubber chickens, Karen's bureaucracy, liberal buzzwords, tour runs, traffic, toilets, terrible jokes, and more. No apologies will be issued. Guest callers may express any opinion they want without fear of being canceled. Unless you're a loudmouth jerk like Dave, then Glenn will hang up on you. Strap in, hold on to your coffee, and feel free to participate.
This disclaimer does not refer to every person named Dave, just one particular Dave from San Francisco. We know a lot of Daves. They call this show all the time, and they're great people. So don't call this program and complain that we use your name. That would be a real Dave move, Dave.
So PETA is still picking on a Wyoming airport. Yes, PETA. I'm pausing just to let that sink in. You heard that correct. People eating tasty animals. So, of course, if we're talking PETA, we have to play the PETA song.
Carnivorous habits, made in nearly 70 days, losing weight without speed, eating sunflower seeds, drinking lots of carrot juice and soaking over rays, but at night I'd have these wonderful dreams, some kind of sensuous treat, not zucchini, fettuccine, bulgur wheat, but a big warm bun and a huge hunk of
and not tofu either.
Cheeseburger in paradise.
Oh, cheeseburger. Here's where he describes what he likes on it. I'm a mustard guy. Okay, so for me, yeah, I don't do the ketchup on a cheeseburger. I like mustard, and I don't like spicy food, but that is one time, hamburgers and hot dogs, where I will use a spicy mustard. As I eat that big chunk of meat, take that PETA. Back we go to the Sweetwater County Airport. They're not done with this story. They keep coming back. Airport officials in Rock Springs have rejected claims by the people for the ethical treatment of animals that Southwest Wyoming Regional Airport unlawfully blocked an ad sought by the animal rights group and violated their free speech rights. Now, the ad is... it's a cow, but the cow's body is a purse. Because a lot of ladies like leather purses. And it says, was she killed to make your carry-on? Cruelty doesn't fly. Choose vegan. PETA. That's basically like a big... they have, you've seen them, you walk into an airport, these huge posters and frames. That's what they wanted to do. Quote, we look forward to answering the allegations in this suit through the appropriate channels where we will set the record straight, said the Rock Springs Sweetwater County Airport Board last month. So PETA claimed in its suit that the airport rejected the ad depicting the cow-like carry-on bag, urging airlines passengers to fly without leather luggage. Was she killed to make your carry-on? The suit claims the airport improperly rejected the ad as a violation of the 14th Amendment, which protects free speech, due process. PETA believes the ad was rejected because of its content. Okay, it's an opinion and all that. Well, here's a quote, though. The airport is a limited public forum, meaning the airport has the right to place limits on advertising speech by restricting the time and place and manner of advertising. Advertising space at the airport is limited by ongoing construction, the statement said. The limitations applied to the PETA ad are clearly content and viewpoint neutral and meet the test of the First Amendment law. The airport board had not filed a response in court by July 2nd, but has asked for and received permission to do so. So there's where we are right now. Now, I'd given this story to you before, but now it's just moved a little bit along the way because, well, courts and people got to file things and stuff like this. And I do agree. I understand that PETA wants to put up their point of view and they're thinking of advertising space. But then on the other hand, you have to put some kind of limits on that. Let me give you an example. Let's say there was a perfectly legal website that was into pornography. Okay, it's a pornographic website, and they want to advertise at the airport. Could you say no? Well, of course you can. There are community standards. Okay, but we can go through other things as well. In other words, to some extent, the airport is allowed to say, but these are our standards, so we're not going to let you put that kind of an ad up there. So this thing will wind up in court, and we'll find out. Morning. We got several people sending me notes here. Fire Pit Paul, PETA, as the bear is spitting out a pair of pants, please eat the activist. Rick and Cheyenne, when I was a kid, I grew up in Japan. We would get big packs of squid jerky. Ooh. But did you have squid donuts, though? Bunny and Cheyenne, vegan, leather-made, plastic oil. Okay, so you got a point there, Bunny. So if they don't want the bag being made, or your handbag or your carry-on being made out of leather, then what do they want it made out of instead? Because chances are petroleum is going to be involved. So no matter what PETA does, okay. Now, here's what I've said to several people over the years, and so far I haven't found anyone who really disagrees with me on this. The idea of PETA, let's take a look at their actual name, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. If they actually did that, then they would have a huge following. I would follow them if that's what they did. They were just after the ethical treatment of animals. You can have pets. You can eat hamburgers. You can raise chickens and eat their eggs and kill the chickens and eat the chickens. But while they're alive, you're going to treat them ethically. You're not going to be cruel. I would agree with that. But PETA goes so overboard in things it wants to get done that nobody really, well, I was about to say nobody in their right mind. That would make sense. Nobody in their right mind would follow PETA. I'm sorry, I was distracted for a moment. We have some kids in the studio today, or in the building, and apparently the kids are running around now shooting zombies. Miss Mary sent me a note just now saying the kids are running around shooting zombies. Mary, do you have a problem with that? Let me put it to you this way, Mary. When I was in kindergarten, a little kid, kindergarten age, I ran around the neighborhood wearing a Superman cape that my mom made for me. And while I was patrolling that neighborhood wearing that Superman cape, we never had one single crime in that neighborhood. I have a perfect record. So you got those kids running around our offices and studios shooting zombies. As I would bet you by the time they're done, there would be no more zombies left in the building if there were any before. You're perfectly safe.
Hello. I finished my free trial of adulting. I'm no longer interested. I'd like to cancel my subscription. Is there a manager that I can talk to?
Admit it, you were hoping somebody would say that. If it's happening in Wyoming, it's on Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods from K2 Radio. Join the conversation at 888-97-WOODS.
9:21's the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. So, okay, let me see. A story about a bit of a backlash. This is something that we knew was going on, and I'm reading this from a news site that is not your mainstream media, which in this case simply means they're reporting news that you're not going to find on mainstream media outlets. But we knew this was true. Headline: Democrats draw backlash and suspicion over opposition to citizen-only voting bill. Makes sense, right? If you want to vote in this country, you need to be a citizen of the United States. How do we never have that? Democrats opposing the passage of a Republican-led congressional legislation that would require proof of citizenships to vote in federal election is drawing backlash and suspicion of the Democrats. Why do you want an open border? Quote, why are Democrats so adamantly against ensuring only American citizens vote in our elections? GOP House Speaker said Republicans have introduced the bill in the White House and Senate. In the House and Senate, that would ensure only U.S. citizens vote in federal elections amid Democrat oppositions claiming it's unnecessary, which has resulted in the bill's supporters speculating that Democrats want illegal immigrants to vote in U.S. elections. So, people who are sponsoring the bill: Senator Mike Lee, Republican Utah; Representative Chip Roy, Republican Texas, introduced the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, or the SAVE Act. Isn't that clever? Yeah, the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility, or SAVE Act, which would amend the 1993 National Voter Registration Act to make states require documentation of persons' citizenship before they register to vote in federal elections. Now, you might have heard, hey, aren't there some states or cities out there that are allowing non-citizens to vote? And the answer is, well, yes, but in local election only. They can't vote in federal elections. So what's to stop them from doing that anyway? I mean, that's the law, but you think they would still do it anyway? Of course that would be allowed by the people who want non-citizens to vote. Story says, while non-citizens are prohibited from voting in federal, state, and most local elections, California, Maryland, Vermont, and Washington, D.C. allow non-citizens to vote in local elections. Quote, illegal immigration and non-citizens across the nation are being improperly registered to vote, allowing them to cast illegal ballots in federal elections, said the bill. That's what I was just talking about there. I mean, but what's to stop? They go in to vote for mayor and city council. Well, the ballot's still filled with everything else, so they would fill it out, right? Here's a quote: at a time when trust in voting is more important than ever, we must stop foreign election interference and pass the SAVE Act. Voting is both a sacred right and responsibility. Now, I'm pausing for a moment because you know where I'm going with this. We are in an election year, and as always, I have my Stay Out the Vote campaign. Now, most radio shows, radio stations, television, other news sites, and a lot of political activity out there have your Get Out the Vote campaigns. And they encourage everybody to vote. In fact, it's typical wherever I've worked on election day, there's always a company-wide email. Get out there and vote. And my answer is, no, I don't want people who don't know what they're talking about to vote. As an example.
Darling, would you fetch me a beer out of the fridge?
So, I know everything about the Kardashians, Beyonce, and stuff like that. But I know nothing about who my governor is or whoever runs the state. So this year I'm doing my patriotic duty and stay out the vote.
Thank you, darling. I can give you every major stat for the Rockies for the last 15 years, but I can't tell you who the mayor of Denver is. That's the reason why this year I'm doing my patriotic duty and stay out the vote.
Too lazy to stay informed? Then stay home. Stay out the vote. Your country is counting on you.
And as I always explain, there's people who misunderstand my Stay Out the Vote campaign that I do every couple of years. I'm not saying that people don't have a right to vote. If you're a citizen in good standing of the United States, you do have a right to vote. but you also have a responsibility as a voter to know what you're talking about, what's on the ballot. Don't show up and just guess. You're doing more harm than good. Do you pay much attention to politics? So what, do you get your news from Facebook, Twitter, maybe some late-night comedy show? Do you even have any idea who your senator is? Who's the vice president? So how do you decide who you're going to vote for? What do you, flip a coin? Every election season, there are get-out-the-vote campaigns, asking completely unqualified voters to show up at the polls at the last minute and flip a coin. If you've spent the past 2 years completely uninformed and out of the loop, then do your country a favor. Don't show up at the polls. Don't vote. Take the day off. Go to the beach. Hang out at your local bar. Watch a ball game instead. Or check out some reality TV. Our nation's in sad shape because people like you have been voting. So this year, do your country a favor. Stay home. Stay out of the vote. America is depending on your apathy. Brought to you by the Campaign to Promote Uninformed Voter Apathy. And now more than ever, obviously, this year, we have to pay attention to politicians who will tell you anything to get elected.
We hooked this average politician up to a lie detector so we could discern exactly when he was lying and when he was telling the truth.
Good morning.
Ooh, off to a bad start.
I'm happy to be here.
Really? Can't even tell the truth about that, huh?
Your government is hard at work.
Ooh, not doing well, are we?
We have solved many problems.
Come on, just tell the truth once.
Care about your well-being.
I don't think he has it in him. I'm telling the truth, I mean.
We will take responsible steps.
Come on now, this is for all the money.
Well, we want to solve these problems.
We have faith in you. Well, no we don't.
Because the last administration...
Ooh, swing and a miss.
I promise I will...
I'm thinking this is not going to end well.
Oh, I promise I will. Come on.
And there you have it. A perfect score.
So that's what we should do every single year is just put the politicians up to lie detector test. But we already know the answer to that, don't we? And as far as the stay out the vote campaign, I do that every couple of years. And most people do understand what I'm doing when I say, make sure that you're an informed voter. You don't have to agree with me. And Googling a couple of things is not research. Make sure you're an informed voter and you know everything that's on that ballot and have some kind of well-educated opinion on it before you show up and cast your vote. If you show up on election day and you're just guessing as to what's on that thing, do your city, county, state, and your country a favor. Just don't. Just stay home. All right, another section of open phones coming away in just a few minutes. We got some business to take care of. Local news is coming. After local news, update on the weather forecast. Then it's you and me. 888-97 Woods, the phone number. That's 888-97-WOODS. At this point, you can talk about what I'm talking about or go ahead and change the subject. That's just fine by me. Let's wake up Wyoming.
He's talking to himself in a padded room, and you could be the voice in his head. Join the conversation on Wake Up Wyoming, 866-97-WOODS.
9:36 the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of a side topic here. Miss Mary's doing something really nice. The short answer is we have an event going on, and somebody brought their kids to work, and Miss Mary is in her office doing all sorts of different work, but that includes babysitting right now. Now, Miss Mary's office kind of big, and some time ago we had an opportunity to get a hold of some old video games like you would see in the arcades. So they put them in Miss Mary's office. So Miss Mary's office has some old video games. One of them, and some of you remember this from back in your video arcade days, is they're sort of connected but side by side. And basically you can do a street race on the streets of San Francisco. Yeah, it's pick a hot car. I always like picking the school bus, really. But pick a hot car and then go drag racing right down the streets of San Francisco. Well, hold on. I want to make that video game a little bit more realistic. But first we open with...
If you're going to San Francisco, be sure to
because if you're going to San Francisco, you're going to meet some gentle people there. So if we're going to make this video game a little bit more realistic for the streets of San Francisco, which, again, I remember this game from when I was a teenager. You get behind the wheel. It's got a brake and a clutch, and for those kids who even know what a clutch is, and a gas pedal, and you can shift. Okay. And you just drag down in some hot car, whatever you want to get, the streets of San Francisco, which means watch out for hitting homeless people. And homeless tent, if you're going to take a corner really sharp right through the middle of the city, watch out for homeless tents. Like whole encampments will be there. You better pick some tires made out of Kevlar because dirty needles from heroin addicts will puncture your tires. There's broken bottles from alcoholics all over the place. In fact, I would watch cornering in general because there's a lot of human feces on the streets of San Francisco. And so you're going to go making corners and you're going to slip slide in that stuff. Oh, this is going to be imagine what that's going to do to your paint job, too. That's just going to be nasty. So if you're playing a video game from my age, when I was a teenager, you're talking early 80s. I graduated from high school in 83. So back in that time, that was what they're playing is a very realistic-looking San Francisco streetcar game. If we were to modernize it, yes, you have to have the homeless encampments, needles and feces and broken bottles on the streets. And if you were to buy it, here's probably what you're running from. You're not running from the cops. You're running from the gangs, from the hordes who want to capture your car. Because if you even slow down for just a little bit, you're going to lose your tires. They're going to be stripped and sold probably right back to you so you can keep on going down the street. So be careful now. Also, they don't like you drag racing in the streets of San Francisco because, see, a game like that today wouldn't pass woke censorship. Because you're teaching kids to get behind the wheel of a hot rod. Imagine what the carbon footprint would be. And then drive like a maniac down the streets of some city. So right there, the woke crowd would say, you can't have a game like that because imagine what the carbon footprint is of vehicles like that. So you can't do it. Any kind of police officer that would chase you in a video game like that would have to be driving a Tesla. Obviously. All right. But then again, don't worry about the police chasing you. There won't be any police chasing you because it's San Francisco. All right. So I think a few updates to the game. In fact, I might just go ahead later on when I get off of everything I have to do at work today. Just go check out, did anyone ever do an updated version of that video game? I would hope that they did. Not just for the humor of it, but for the realism of it, too. If not, maybe I should get a hold of someone and say, you want to update this to modern times. In fact, we can even call the video game something different. Because they were calling it Streets of San Francisco, which is like the old television show. Remember that, Streets of San Francisco? No, I want to name it Escape from California. Remember, we did have a movie called Escape from New York, and then there was a movie Escape from L.A. We can have instead Escape from California, and that's what the video game can be all about.
I wish we all could leave California now.
Babylon Bee, best parody song they ever did. Wish we all could leave California.
Hope.
Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods. Make your voice heard at 888-97-WOODS. This is AM 1030 K2 Radio.
We're coming up on 9:48 off to the Icebox we go where Frank Gambino is waiting by. So, Frank, you had, of course, that nice tour that you did all the way over to the west coast of the United States, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't fall in?
No.
Okay.
And some places are pretty steep, I can tell you that.
I bet, yeah. Then I decided after listening to you, and after that inspiring young man who's taken a tour of every single pizza ranch in the United States, that I am inspired now to go on a tour of America the way it was meant to be. But I don't have to leave our town to do it.
Well, how do you do that?
I will be visiting every single dollar store and Walmart in our area.
Oh, okay.
Over a week-long period. I'm just going to hang out.
You would be amazed that some of the smaller communities in this state have one of those.
Oh, yeah, Glen Rock,
Guernsey.
Wyoming. Guernsey just got one, yeah. And they were really proud. I mean, I hate to say this because, I mean, the people of Guernsey are going to get mad at me. Doesn't that brand new dollar store make the rest of the town look like garbage? Kind of, yeah. Because the rest of the town's worn down. It's old.
Yeah.
They put a brand new store in there.
It's got,
Yeah. But
texture.
I want you to think about this, though. That people in a town like Guernsey and Glen Rock, Glen Rock's a cute little town, but there's not a lot to do there. Mm-hmm. That means that when people get bored, they go browse the dollar store.
But the aisles are not wide enough for a lot of people.
I understand. Well, then you get a chance to talk to your neighbors and get all the gossip.
Then go to their house.
Yes. Have you ever found yourself browsing a dollar store?
Not a dollar store, no.
No, okay.
I'll go for big box stores, but not it's too narrow.
You ever browse a Walmart?
Yeah.
Okay. I knew that when I first moved to Wyoming, I moved to Gillette, where I told the mayor of Wyoming they should change the title on their sign, because you enter the city, it says Gillette, Energy Capital. No. Mm-hmm. Gillette, 2 hours from fun. He wasn't happy with me.
Well, Walmart is a start, at least.
Well, I knew that I had to get out of there. The people of Gillette are really nice people. I like them. But I had to get out of there because I found myself so bored one night, I was browsing the grocery store.
I did that, too. You know what I had to do when I was quitting smoking?
Yeah.
I mean, I had a really hard time sleeping. Mm-hmm. So what was open at 1 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, okay.
Walmart.
So you go to Walmart and you browse. Yeah. That means you become one of those weirdos. Did you bother to put, decent clothes on?
Yes, I had decent. I didn't go in pajamas or look like I just got with a robe or anything.
Because that means you were overdressed.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, okay. But that's going to be my vacation. I'm just going to stay in town, and I want to see real America the way it was meant to be.
I think, but you need to expand to other states just to see how the dollar stores operate in different places.
But don't they all operate the same way?
We need you to find out and document this.
I'll document this. Do the same. We know that the same type of people show. In fact, they're probably all related.
Well, pretty much.
Yeah, if you show up at $1 store in Wyoming and you go to a dollar store in Tennessee, oh, you know my cousin. I think that's how that works, Frank. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll buy that one. In the National Football League, former Wyoming Cowboy Tashawn Gibson has been suspended for 6 games for violating the league's PED protocols. Now, Gibson owned up to it and said, he took a supplement in the offseason that he thought was legal. Turned out it wasn't. Now, he played 2 seasons with San Francisco and is currently a free agent and wants to play this coming year. He's 34 years old and has been in the NFL for the last dozen years. And Gibson also played in last year's Super Bowl with the 49ers as a free safety and had 5 tackles in their loss to Kansas City. The 77th annual Central Wyoming PRCA Rodeo kicks off tonight at the fairgrounds in Casper. It's Cowboy Christmas, so there's plenty of money to be made all over the place. So these contestants are crisscrossing the nation and the continent. So they can, so there's a very good chance chance that the best cowboys and cowgirls will be in Casper during the course of the week. Rodeo starts at 7:30 each night at the fairgrounds and runs through Saturday night. Collegiate baseball, the Casper Spuds at home tonight at Lansing Field to take on Hastings, Nebraska in Independence League play. The Spuds are 29-4. They have won an incredible 19 games in a row. It's a 6:30 start from Lansing Field tonight. And in Major League Baseball, the Colorado Rockies will play in Cincinnati tonight. The Rockies lost to the Reds yesterday 6-0. They managed just 4 hits. It's the 10th time the Rockies have been shut out this year, and they sit at a pitiful 32-59. American Legion Baseball, Cheyenne Post 6 from Cheyenne will be at home tonight to beat Scottsbluff, Nebraska in one 9-inning game. Cheyenne Eagles will be at Scottsbluff tomorrow. The Cheyenne Hawks in Sheridan on Thursday. Also on Thursday, a bunch of events. Laramie A Rangers will take on Wheatland. The Casper Oilers will be in the Bozeman tournament. Post 6 Cheyenne and the AA Laramie Rangers will be in the Fort Collins tournament starting tomorrow and over the weekend. I mean, starting on Thursday and then over the weekend. That's in the sports.
So as you head on over to the rodeo,
I'm going to go to the parade first.
You really? Okay.
Yeah, you know, this is the problem with the parade. I love the parade. I love parades.
Right.
Except this is an election year.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and there's just too many of them.
No, okay.
They should have really their own parade at the same time as the real parade, but on a different street somewhere.
On a different day, nobody's on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, now here's see, this is where you've blown it, Frank, but you may still have time. Oh. You go to the grocery store and you go down the aisle where the tomatoes are and the cabbage, and you buy the ones you're about to throw out.
Yeah.
Then you go to the parade and you look for the politicians.
Yeah. Oh, and try to nail them?
Yes.
Or try to play catch with them.
You can call it catch if you. I'll put air quotes up. Play catch.
Yeah, we're playing catch with them. Yes, throw it back to me.
See, now you're engaged in a truly American activity. And on the way back, stop by the hardware store and ask for some tar.
Yeah.
And I know they're selling little chicks this time of year, so you can get feathers too.
Okay.
See, you're set now, Frank, to go to the parade.
I wish they would just have them at the end after they pick up the poop.
What's nice is, well, you know, a lot of parades, and I'm serious about this, the lawyers bring up the back of the parade with shovels.
The lawyers?
Yeah, the lawyers.
Yeah, right.
No, there are parades that actually do that, I swear to God. Thank you, Frank. It's Wake Up Wyoming.